Well, you caught me putting barrettes in the bottom of my hair so that the back of my ponytail doesn't look stupid. I apologize, you're going to hear a little bit of background noise, and that's because I do have a room fan going in here. You might not hear it when I'm not talking, but when I am talking, maybe it'll pick it up a little bit, and I don't care because the fan feels great. It is 78 degrees outside, it is gorgeous, it is sunny, and right now I should be at my daughter's spring band concert, so I had no plans to do anything for YouTube or quilting because the entire night was going to be set aside for concert time. We had dinner, whole family had dinner, we all packed up in the cars, and we made it up to the high school where the band concert was going to happen, and we found out that the high school had flooded and the band concert got canceled. So we went home, stopped by Dollar Store, stopped by the UPS store, and I decided, it has been a minute since I've done an unboxing. And the reason for that is because, to be completely honest with you, I've kind of lost my, can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but I'm going to say it and put it out there so that I don't have to skirt around it anymore. But I've lost the desire to open boxes on videos. I want to do more with my channel. I don't just want to open the boxes. I want to create, and I want to tell the story of creation, and I want to vlog it, and I want to do live streams. And I think it's time to part ways with some of the box openings. Now, don't get me wrong, there might be occasional boxes that I open here or there, or maybe in 3 months or 6 months, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go back to doing those because I really enjoyed them. But for right now, there's no joy in making those videos anymore. Sitting down, opening the box, editing the box, it's become a very routine thing, and there's so many of them that come in, even though I don't get all of them. There are still more that come in than I am actually able to do anything with. And so I find I'm re-gifting them, not because I didn't like the project, not because I thought the box was not of value, but because I lack the time as a quilter, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a full-time job holder, holding all of those hats. I have to let something go. And I knew I couldn't make the project. So I have made a very recent decision. This is something I've been thinking about for a while, that I'm going to let it go. There are so many content creators out there right now that are showing unboxing videos. Fallon does some, Tiffany does some. I think Donna has done some, might do some in the future. We'll see. But there's so many content creators out there that do their own spin on unboxing videos. And I think it's time to just hand the baton over to them and let them do it. Not that I was preventing them from doing it before, but I'm just going to step aside and let them do the unboxings. Now, if I get one occasionally, maybe I'll show that. But I want to focus more on the storytelling and the inspiration and the live streams and the sew-alongs and things of that nature. So that's where the channel is going. And that's what I've been thinking about since the start of 2023. And I am not looking at the chat. I am looking everywhere but the chat window because I don't know how this is going to go over. So we're just going to let that go. That's where we're at. And I'm not even going to look at the chat because I don't want to hear, like, I don't want to second guess myself. I know this is the direction I want to go. And if I'm worried that I might start second guessing that direction. So the reason why I'm going live tonight is because I got a million, and by a million, I mean like 7 or 8 packages over here that I really do need to do openings for. These are boxes that I received to open on YouTube, and I feel like I need to honor that commitment. And some of the boxes are boxes that I just bought, like Sew Sampler. I don't get that to open it. I get it because I like it. Ginger Quilter, I love, I paid for, but I want to share these items with you. So we're going to do a big mail opening. I've seen Tiffany do this before. We're going to do it. This is the first time I've ever done it. So we're going to start off with a package that I've already opened, and this is actually from Ginger Quilter. And this is, I'll start looking at the chat in a second. But this is a fat quarter bundle that I'm actually kind of excited about, not because it is Halloween fabric, because if you know me, I am not a Halloween fan, but this is a full fat quarter bundle of this spooky and witchy line from Art Gallery Fabrics. And this is the fabric line that Ian from the Off Kilter Crafter is doing his puzzle mystery quilt in. Well, my friends Tiffany, Teresa, and Ian and I have started a project for 2023 where each of the 4 of us are hosting a live collaboration where we start a project and then finish it up on our own channels and showcase or tell the story of how that quilt or project became finished. And the reason why I'm showing this to you is 2 reasons. Number 1, I have decided that this is going to be the fabric that I use for my collab that Ian is going to host, I think in September or October timeframe. Details will be shared on that as soon as we have them. But also, secondly, because I want you to know that this is a fat quarter bundle that I got at a steal of a deal on Whatnot. Natalie Pratt from the Ginger Quilter has opened a Whatnot shop, and she is selling like Art Gallery Fabrics, y'all. Like, this was a steal over there. So there are more and more people, quilt shops, quilters by the dozen, literally, well, maybe not by the dozen, but there are more and more quilt shops starting to ramp up and use that Whatnot platform to sell their items in an interactive way. So if you haven't signed up for Whatnot already, you really are missing out. You might want to consider doing that. I'll put a link in the description box down below. I don't believe I have one handy right here. So let me just type it right here. Da, 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 da. All right, I just typed it in the chat. If you use that link to create an account, you'll get $15. Oh, I just saw a bunny run by her, something white. Anyway, you'll get $15 credited. I bet it was the dog, but the husband has the dogs out. Man, am I like squirrel moments, right? Anyway, if you use that link to create an account on Whatnot, you'll get a $15 credit, which will be particularly handy because on Sunday, this Sunday, June 4th, 2023, I have a 1-hour sale at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And then again on Tuesday, June 6th, 2023, I'm going to have a 30-minute sale, and both of those live sales are already created on my profile. You can go check them out on the Whatnot app. You can bookmark the show so that you know about them in the future, and all of the items that I am selling are already listed there. And we're not going to do auctions this time. It is the dog. It is the dog. Anywho, we're not going to do auctions this time. We're going to use a new format that I think is more fair. It's fun for me. It's fun for you. You'll get to save a little bit of money, maybe, if you choose, and I'll get to earn a little bit of money. So there's an in-between. We can meet in the middle. We're going to use the make offer functionality. And so the way that works, you can start now. You can go to the show, you can see all the items on the Buy Now tab of that. You can see everything that's listed there, and you'll see the MSRP for the items. That is the retail price that Moda or Checker or whoever I got the item from says the item should sell for. That is the retail price that the manufacturer suggests. If you want that item, just buy it. You can buy it full at retail price. But if you want to haggle a little, if you want to negotiate a deal, you can make an offer on those items. The lowest you can go with your offer is 30% below what that price is. So you can come in and make whatever offer you want. Just know that somebody else can make another offer. And if their offer is higher than yours, that might get accepted. You might not get that item. And I feel like this is a fair way where there can be a little competition with the pricing, which is fun. You get to save a few bucks and I get to earn a little bit of money, but we don't end up having things going at auction competitive pricing that could be ridiculous. Right? I kind of feel bad if I put a layer cake out there and it goes for $100. Now, if that's an out of print line that you can't get your hands on and it's super, super rare, maybe that's one thing. But if it's something that's in stock that you can pick up on Amazon or something, it's a completely different thing. So anyway, that's my Whatnot spiel. Good quality fabric over there. I've got 2 shows coming up and we're going to do things a little bit differently. And you can do it from a computer. I have tested it. It works. So if you don't want to install the app on your phone, there you go. Now, Tanel says, I have been squirrel all week and everything. Yeah, absolutely. And Becky said, shoot, I like Whatnot for the $1 cheapie sales. I might, well, in every sale I do, there's always a giveaway. There's always a giveaway. So free is cheaper than $1. And there may still occasionally be items that have $1 starts, but this is the way I'm going to do it. And I realize that the way my format might not fit everybody's preference, but I'm not going to be able to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. But I think, Becky, you're probably still on board with free, right? The chance to earn something free or win something free is better than $1 start. So, but the $1 starts are fun. It's not going to be in every single show, though. Not going to be in this one. All right. And don't forget the retail price is just what you can buy it at. You have the chance to haggle it down to almost like haggle the price if you don't like that. So we're going to go with the first package. This first package is from Ginger Quilter and I'm just going to dive in. I don't know what's in here. So we're just going to go to the overhead camera. It is. Those $1 starts are fun. They are super, super fun. And I love doing those. I really like doing them when I get fat quarters. But I feel like the $1 starts really need to be like, every item has to be kind of unique. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, those $1 starts are fun. I hear you. And we'll do more of those in the future. Oh, this is like Christmas. Open it, open it, open it. Hello, Robin. Dragonflies for Donna. Jackie says, I wasn't going to do the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt Carnival until I saw Sky Flyer. My middle granddaughter is all about the blues, and this one is for her. That's awesome. Candy said, I love free. Me too. All right, so I already know what's in this bag because Natalie told me what was going to be in the next box when I chatted with her during the last unboxing video that I did for Ginger Quilter. And I know it's going to be for a bag that she has designed. So I'm going to show you everything that we got in here. We have an exclusive patch that you can sew onto your bag or your jacket or whatever swag you want that says the Ginger Quilter box. It has her logo on it. This is all of the soft and stable that you're going to need for the bag. We have a custom, is it custom? I think it's custom. It's a Mr. bottle that's got this gradient ombre color to it, and it's clear, which is nice. And then inside is one of these, oh, two of these old school candies. I remember getting these candies at the candy store with my dad when I was younger. So we've got a Mr. bottle, a pretty Mr. bottle with some candy, a patch. I'm gonna throw this away. We have all of our documentation. This is the pamphlet that tells us about everything that's inside. And then we've got, oh, we've got a member spotlight. And I'm not gonna go through and read all this like I normally do because I just don't have time. But this is the duffel bag that you're gonna make. And these are all of the fabrics that she has picked for you to put the bag together. Very, I feel like, kind of like fall themed. Lots of oranges and greens. You've got the zipper, the webbing, all of your interfacing, all of your fabric, and your pattern. It says it's rated for intermediate quilter. I'm looking at this, I'm wondering if I'll have time to do it. So that's the immediate thought that's going through my head. Can I actually get that done? Will I actually have time? I don't know, but I'm going to keep everything wrapped in kind of that foam. Yes, foam interfacing. Becky says, I love making bags. Looking forward to that design. Awesome. All right, the next item that I'm going to open is a Rebs Fab Stash box. I have two of them here, so I'm going to open them both, one after the other. I honestly don't know which month this is until I open it, so we're just going to dig right in. There's my receipt. Got my documentation here. And there's a few things in here. The neat thing about the Rebs Fab Stash boxes is you get a recipe card in every box. Oh, well, look at this. They have an upcoming quilt retreat, June 21st to June 25th in Idaho. So if you are near Moscow, Idaho, you can join them for their first ever quilt retreat with demos, catered dinners, and explore the Palouse and grow your skills. Neat. We also have our mystery fat quarter. Mine has some beehives on it. Who knows, this might be in a $1 stash soon. Maybe a $1 start on whatnot, we'll see. Our exclusive swag says from our stash to yours. And then it has our website, Rebs Fab Stash. And these are all, I have big wrists, but I do like wearing these. And that actually fits. You just gotta stretch it to put it on. It's pretty. I'm gonna wear it. Okay. And then we've got 3 projects. They always give you, I'm going to keep this set aside. Actually, I'm going to put everything back in the box so I don't lose it. Oh, I don't want to enable dictation. Seriously? Okay. We've got flower number 3 of the sunflower, and I believe all of those are going to go together to make a block of the month type event, which is what you have there. And all of the fabrics that are inside will make the flowers look exactly like each of these. We have a kit to make love bug pillows, stash love notes in the wings. And these are the fabrics that are inside. Jackie says you need some of the 2.5 gallon Ziploc bags for box contents. Yes, that's not a bad idea. You've got the rick rack and the buttons that you need, the pattern, and all of this lovely fabric. Look at that. Ooh, this feels like a brushed cotton or a really nice flannel too. I thought this was going to be like a Tula pink when I saw it from the edge. Oh, I like that one. Ooh, this is pretty. Oh, that's cool. I don't know what I would do with these, but I love the fabric choices. I don't know if I would necessarily make this, but I love that they give you the pattern and everything you need, just like Ginger Quilter. It's not just a stash builder box, they are kits. So all you got to do is just sit down and start working the pattern. The bug pillows are cute, right? And then the last thing that we have is the origami butterfly. This is fun fabric decor for spring. So inside of this Ziploc bag, you have your pattern, and your fabrics back here. And I'm wondering if it says you'll need just your main fabric and your backing fabric. No actual interfacing is going to be needed for this. And there is a video tutorial on page 3. So if you're not good with pattern instructions, most of their projects do have a video tutorial that you can reference. So if you're not really good with written instructions, like me, I prefer somebody to show me than to write it up. I need visual. So patterns where you see everything visually are always great. Actually, I think I might put some of these in the live sale. Maybe we could do these as $1 starts. Oh, look at that, Becky. We might have some $1 starts this weekend. That's fun. Well, maybe we will. For the things that I know I'm not going to have time to get around to doing. And that was I think that's the thing that I had to just have like an honest moment with myself. I love the box and I have a fear of missing out. But realistically, I don't have enough hours in the day to do all the things that come in. So, yeah. Anywho, let's move on to the next Rebs Fab Stash box. This one is from whatever other month it is. Oh yeah, this one I remember. This one was fun. I opened it and I was going to record the video and I never got around to it. So I'm missing my swag item and my bonus fat quarter because I think I've already put it on my shelves. But I'll show you what I have. So the small project, your easy and fun project, is another kind of fabric decor item. You're going to have your Pellon heavy duty Wonder Under, your coordinating fabric, and a button square, and you're going to make this 3D pinwheel with a button in the middle. You also have, oops, I just ripped that bag. Oh my goodness. Oh, this was from April, FYI. You have all of the fabric that you need to make flower number 2 for this block of the month. Remember, the other box revealed these 2, so the last month we're probably just going to get those 3. Got a sticker that says Rebs Fab Stash on it, and all of the fabrics that they chose are actually really pretty. These are like they're like P&B textiles, it looks like. Yep, PB textiles. This is the suede. It's a blender that kind of reads as a solid, which honestly, this was my go-to. If I ever wanted to have a solid in a quilt, I didn't want to work with an actual solid. I wanted to work with something that had some texture. And so I would go for something like this. But now I'm kind of leaning into this whole idea of actually using like legit solids. I don't know. Your tastes change every so often, you know? And I think that's where I'm at right now, is my tastes are evolving. Hello, Katie. All right, so now we've got a pattern for our next project. It's going to make this April Showers quilt, which I think this is super fabulous. It's gorgeous. And if you look at the edges of this, this is all going to be traditional piecing. It's not going to be FPP, no curved piecing. It's all just straight traditional piecing with a whole lot of half square triangle units. And to make this, you're going to use these fabrics. You've got the background. I guess this is maybe the cloud. And these are all for like the little squares, the little raindrops that are coming out. They are rainbow colors, which I love. It says the finished size will measure 48 inches by 50 inches. So that's a pretty big quilt for a subscription box that only costs $50. Not to mention you have the other projects plus the bonus fat quarter. Like the value in this box, honestly, it's there. I come off like a cheap hat. Becky said I come off like a cheap. a cheap butt. But the reason is I get $20 for fabric a month, and I'm in trouble because I spent 40 on Tula last month and I got caught. Well, like I said, free won't even eat into your budget. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and put all these items back in here. And I think the projects and the fabrics that I know I'm not going to use, I think those are going to be fun for $1 start. So thanks for mentioning that, guys. All right. I've got 4 more packages to open. I don't know what's in this one, so we're going to open it up. I know people have already unboxed this. This is the yeah, okay, it's that way. This is it's upside down. Oh, no, it's not. They just got the sticker on the top. So this is from, okay, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the May box unveiled already, this is the May Sew Sampler box. I thought it was April. My bad. It is May. And I'm thinking in my head, how long has it been since this was mailed? Because this is the one that people don't like spoiled. So I'm going to stop. Because I think it's been 11 days since it was mailed. Everybody should have their box now. It's one thing to do an edited video and put it out there, because if you click on it, then people know, okay, I know what I'm about to watch. So in the middle of a live, though, that might be hard. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause. And if you don't want me to open this, tell me in the live chat. If you're watching this on replay, down in the description box, there's going to be timestamps that you can click on that will take you to each box. So you can just click the read more and then jump to the next box and skip over this one if you don't want the the surprise spoiled. But I do need a little bit of time to put that in. So it might not be there until like 9 p.m. on Wednesday night. But yeah. If Fat Quarter Shop has shown it, fine. We're just jumping in then. If Fat Quarter Shop has shown it, then I can show it. So the theme this month is the sweetest things. And on the back side of this card, you have 20% off of all layer cakes with a limit of 3. We'll set that aside. This is your inside of the box. We got one of these before. This is a macaroon. Let's see, there you can go. It's like a needle holder. We have 2 spools of thread. Wow. Not 1, 2. Maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. But I've got 2 spools of thread, both Metler thread, one in a cream and one in a white. We got this in a box before too, and recently even. We've got this little clover thread cutter. It's a little pendant that you hang on a chain. And the little slits around the outside you can use to cut threads. We've got a package of nail files from the Featherweight shop. And oh my goodness, I almost bought some of these online somewhere. Now I'm glad I didn't, because I have them for free. We also have our block of the month pattern for pressed flowers. This should be block number 2. Dolores got 2. So did Lisa. Awesome. And then we also got the pattern for Mi Casa. This is cute. I actually really want to make this. And maybe I'll even make it with the fabric that we got, which is a miniature layer cake of, what line is this? It's going to be a new line, I'm sure. Is this? Yep, fruit cocktail. It is a junior layer cake, which means there are the 2 nail files came with this as a bonus. $22.48 for the 2 nail files plus this. There are 20, I'm looking, 20, I guess, probably 20 pieces of fabric in here, each measuring 10 inches by 10 inches. And if you want to know what this line looks like, you can hop over to Fat Quarter Shop, look up fruit cocktail, and you'll see the photo that they do. They do a really good job with their photos to show you all of the fabrics that's inside that line. Fig Tree Company. Boom, we're getting through these. Okay, this one I've already opened. I was going to wait to do this until tomorrow, Friday night, and I was going to do it live, but I decided I'm just going to open it here, and I'm going to show you here. So here we go. This is the Open Gates box for whatever month this is. I don't know. And I feel like there's, yeah, there it is. You have a small spool of Aurifil thread. This is color number 6722, which is my go-to color for all piecing that requires something white or light colored. You have one of her fabric patterns. And then you have a little extra notion. This is a Moda reference guide. Inside you have all sorts of handy dandy little bits of information. And then you have two projects. The first project is something that's designed to be quick. So this is a couple of labels with a needle to sew them in and a micron pen to write on. And then you have a sheet of instructions on how to do all of that. You also have the freezer paper, which I saw recently what that freezer paper is used for. So if you don't handwrite on your labels, I can't remember what channel I saw this on, but they said what they do is they take their fabric and they attach it to freezer paper. And that freezer, all you got to do is just put the fabric on top of the freezer paper and then iron it. And then the waxy side, the plastic coated side of the freezer paper will adhere to the fabric and stabilize it a bit. And it makes it easier to write on your labels. And the other tip that I picked up from Shannon Greengich, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's from Once Upon a Rabbit Moon. She was at my Quilt Guild's quilt shop. She said there was, she said 05 is the pen, and that's the one that we have in here that works beautifully for writing on fabric. So looks like Monique follows that same method. So that's our small project. Label your quilts. And then the bigger one is this lovely table runner, but you could also make it square if you wanted to make it a wall hanging. The fabrics inside of here, I'll pull them out so you can see them. I love Monique's packaging. It's absolutely gorgeous. So she's given us the whole layer, the whole charm pack, not layer cake. And then all of our border fabric, and I think maybe even our binding, and I don't think backing. Yeah. So this is the photo of what the project will look like when it is all put together. Yeah, something like that. And you can also use those labels that she gave to us to label the back of this table runner. Tiffany from Tiffany's Quilting Life, I think this is the May box, so it came out like a month ago. Sorry, Monique. Tiffany from Tiffany's Quilting Life has already put this together. I believe she did it. I think she did. She's always on top of putting the stuff together. So you'll want to check out her channel. She does a time lapse of making all the projects in the Open Gates box every month when it comes. So make sure to check those out. Awesome job. So this is the Open Gate quilt box. If you are interested in signing up for this, there are probably still some spots available. And Monique's got some fun announcements that are coming out this year, so you'll want to stay tuned. All right, I have 2 packages left. And that is a pretty charm pack. Dolores says, I run it through my printer and then the fabric on the freezer paper. Oh. All right. This first package that I'm going to open, actually we'll do that one last. It's from a subscriber. This is a box that I got from Cotton Cuts. This is my Java box. I don't know what's in here. So the Java box, they sent to me for free in exchange for just making something. Like I don't have to do an unboxing video. I just have to sew with some or all of the batiks. And I challenge myself to take what I call the Cotton Cuts Challenge. I want to turn this into something, and I like to do it with as little extra fabric as needed. So sometimes I might switch up the rules to add in like a grounding fabric if I need some background fabric because I want to make it bigger. Last month I made, there it is. Last month I made this, and I did a time-lapse video showing the entire process, but rather than just giving you the time-lapse video and music over top of it, I actually narrated what I was doing, why I was doing it that way, and walked you through the entire thing from start to finish, what my inspiration was, what I was doing every step of the way, and I even linked the pattern for this block in the description box of that video, and Cotton Cuts picked that video up and did a blog post on their website. So if you did not see my Tuesday video from last week, that's what that Tuesday video is. I actually really enjoyed making that video, so check it out if you haven't done so already. So this is my May box. That was April's box. May's looks like this. Keep this over here because that's a good spool of thread. We're going to go to the overhead camera. We have our ticket inside the box that shows us that the next puzzle mystery quilt is coming soon. And by the time I've opened this, it's already live. So, by the way, I am doing Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So let's just talk about that for a second since I've got the ticket right in front of me. I'm returning as another ambassador, I am returning as an ambassador again for the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt for Carnival. The clues will start shipping in July. There are several colorways there, and they have even added at the very last second a Tula Pink line. I am doing, I believe, the Cotton Candy colorway. It's pinks, purples, and blues. It looks beautiful. And spoiler alert, this one I don't think is Batiks. I think it's Jason Yenter for In the Beginning Fabrics, which I'm drawn to his fabrics too. So that's great. I'm really excited about it. I have teased Ian though with this one because I looked at all the colorways and nothing was really jumping out at me as do this one, do this one. There were several that I liked, but I was like, okay, I've done a purple quilt. I've done a purple quilt. I've done a purple quilt. So I didn't know what to pick. And so I texted Ian. I was like, what one should I get? What colorway should I pick? And he replied back with the colorway for Cotton Candy. I think that's the name. I'm going to feel very foolish if it was a different name. But he replied back with that fabric line or with that colorway. And I was like, okay. I was like, but I've done a purple quilt. A ton of purple quilt. He was like, yeah, but this is your wheelhouse. This is what you would go for. I was like, you're not wrong. And so I teased him for just a minute. I was this close to letting him pick my color line. And then I changed it at the last second. But we have made a pact that for the next puzzle mystery quilt, the one that will go on sale in December, he and I are going to pick each other's colorways. Oh, it's going to be great. And I cannot wait. And he's not going to get to know, but we're going to draw it out and have all sorts of like little teasers. So it's going to be a blast. And I can't wait to stick him with a colorway that he'll either love or he'll hate. We'll see. So there you go. All right. Now, Lori says she loves Jason Yenter. Absolutely. Me too. Now we're going to open up the Java box. So the Java box is a monthly subscription box that contains 12 coordinated fat quarters, all from Hoffman Batiks. They're all packaged by Hoffman Batiks. And you have a couple of cards, a spool of coordinating thread, and a little lanyap. The lanyap this month is a pencil that says Border Hoarder. Wait a second. I saw somewhere recently, within the past week, I either heard it or saw it, and I think I saw it like on somebody's story on Instagram when I was doom scrolling. You know, doom scrolling is where you have your phone and you're just going like this, and you're literally just can't stop. Yeah, that's doom scrolling. So I was doom scrolling on Instagram and I saw somebody shared a graphic that they said, there's a difference between a hoarder and a collector. A collector can freely get rid of their items and a hoarder cannot. And I think that's not how it was worded though. And I'm trying to remember. I feel like the way it was worded was like, have you ever worried that you're a hoarder? Here's a way to find out. Can you get rid of your stuff? Can you give it away? And it's not meant to be funny or joking. It's a serious thing. So in that moment, when I read that, I was like, oh, I'm not a hoarder because I will get rid of stuff way too easily. But yeah, this just reminded me of that little post. Hoarder. That's great. All right, let's see. We have two different documentation items in here. So this first item, I'm not flipping over and showing you the back of because there's a code on the back. Actually, I can. I'll cover it with my thumb. There's a code underneath my thumb that I can use to redeem a free pattern PDF. The pattern designer usually has 4 patterns that you can choose from. You get to pick one and then you use that code to download the pattern for free. And you also have a little color card for a block of the month. You color out this side, take a picture of it, post it to social media with the right hashtag, and you can be entered to win a couple yards of fabric. And also they have switched it up. This is new within the past year, I feel like, where this card is actually a pattern. Sorry, it's a pattern. So you can collect all of these and store them up and you'll have your own little set of recipe cards to make different blocks, which I think that is genius. And both of these come in all of the boxes. So if you decide that you want a Cotton Cuts box that just gives you 1-yard cuts, they have the Modern Maker, 3 1-yard cuts. You can get the classic box in half-yard cuts. You get 6 pieces of half-yard cuts, or you can get the fat quarter box, which is 12 fat quarters. If you get the Batiks, the Java box, it is curated by Hoffman. Otherwise, the other boxes are curated based on your preferences by the team over at Cotton Cuts. Okay. So let's take a look and see what our fabric looks like this month. This is for the month of May. The theme is Mom's Favorite Merlot. So you're going to have lots of burgundies. Oh my goodness. Oh geez. This is going to be hard. I am not a big burgundy and brown fan. So the challenge for me is going to be to turn some of this fabric into something that I don't hate looking at. I don't know what that challenge is yet, but I'm a little behind the 8 ball because May has been a crazy month. Here I am trying to be like all delicate and untie, but it's knotted on there good. So we'll flip through these fat quarters. By the way, we have a spool of Aurifil thread that coordinates beautifully with that. So I'll lay these out. This one's not bad. Mom's Favorite Merlot. Okay, I really like this one. This one's not bad. I love this one. This one's okay. That one's all right. There's just too much brown in most of these purples for me. So if I had to pick something out of this lineup to work with right away, it would be these two. And I don't think I would put anything else in there. What do you think? I'm looking at them in the monitor because sometimes things speak to you differently on camera. On camera, I'm really loving this one. Actually, all 3 of these. I'm seeing leaves as an applique. Yeah. So this one, it's got some vines on it. This has got some rosebuds on it. Robin says, I like 6 of them. This has got some really big flowers. I'm glad that the sound is fixed for you, Becky. It would make a good fall quilt. Great. Good luck, Mary. Fall is not my thing, but I agree. It's very fall themed. So anyway, that is the Java box. I got to figure out something that I'm going to make from this, and I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it'll be a quilt block. Maybe it will be, oh, wouldn't that be fun if every month I made a quilt block out of one or two of the fat quarters, or maybe more? What if I made that block every month? That would be fun. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it would all go together at the end of a year, though. Kathleen says, find a pattern that you really like and then use as many of these as possible. You might really be surprised, or a great giveaway. Absolutely. So there was a quilt that I donated to Tracy over the sewing channel to use as a giveaway in January of last year, January 22. And that quilt I pieced from a Cotton Cuts challenge several years ago. I made up the pattern completely on my own. There was no pattern. You know, come to think of it, I should recreate that because folks kept asking for a pattern for that quilt. And now that I am designing and writing patterns, I bet I could write that one and make that, put that out there for people to have. But anyway, the story of that is I brought in some neutral background to work with all of the fabrics in my box. I did not like the fabrics in the box. I was just like, huh. But when I put them all together into a quilt, I loved the quilt. So yeah, you might not be wrong. And Kim has said this on a number of occasions, and I have heard other people say it too, that any fabric is pretty if you cut it up small enough. Becky said she asked her husband if she's a fabric hoarder, and he said, no, you're an unfinished quilt hoarder. Beth received that quilt. Beth, I'm so happy you have it. Oh, I love that. And the other story about that quilt is I quilted it. That was the first quilt I loaded on the long arm in my studio once the studio was finished and the long arm was ready to be set up. So I had not quilted on the long arm in like 6.5 months by the time I got to that quilt. So, all right. This last item that we have is a package that we got from, oh my goodness. Okay, you can't read it. Good. This last package that we have is, just going to peel this off of here so that I can go to the overhead camera and you can't see. Oh, you know what? I don't want to share anybody's personal information. So I'm just going to cut the address label off of here so that I can remember who sent this to me. I don't normally get packages from subscribers, but I really like that I like what Tiffany does when she gets a package from a subscriber. She shows everybody, not to be like, ha ha ha, look what I got, but thank you so much for thinking of me and sending something. So I want to do that too. So rather than just sending a community post or something that could possibly get lost, let me show you what somebody sent to me. Oh yeah, I remember she sent me an email that she was going to send this. And I am going to set this aside because it's a note. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh! Okay. Let me just stack that up nicely. She's given me all sorts of instructions in here. This is, I'll give you the overhead so you can see the book. This is the Peaky and Spike book by Doreen Speckman. The ISBN, if you want to pause it, is here in case you're looking for it. Right there is the ISBN. And this is what's inside the book. You guys already see the whales. You know where this is going. Oh, I love a good quilt book. Mm, look at those whales. Humpback whales. And here's the layout for the humpback whales. I know I'm probably going to get a comment about how I'm flipping through this whole book and somebody could just pause it and steal all of the information. Listen, you could do that, but you shouldn't. It's got templates at the back. Oh my gosh. Soft edge piecing was done by Ginny Beyer. Coming in fall 2000. So this is a not very old book, but it's old, and I don't even know if it's in print anymore. So Travels with Peaky and Spike. I love it. Oh, look at this. You could use this for paper piecing. And she did, oh my gosh. She did some templates if I wanted to do some applique. And she even did an FPP pattern if I wanted to do an FPP. And then she gave me more info, like all of her notes too. So not just the book, but the notes. So you know who you are that sent this to me. Thank you for it. I got it. It's probably been sitting in my mailbox a while, but I did officially get it and open it. Thank you. You guys just got to watch me sit and flip through a whole book. Yes, I am positive they are whales and not sharks. And by the way, Susan, Shady Susan, she won those whale fabric, and she opened it up and showed it to her husband. She's like, yeah, they're whales. I was like, I told you they were. There's no dorsal fin on the top. Like humpback whales have a dorsal fin, but it's much bigger than a shark's dorsal fin. And the whales on a whale are different orientation than the whales on the shark. The whales on a shark go vertical, and the tail on a whale goes horizontal. So I'm sorry that my mom does not know her marine life, but I do. So some of your older and deceased quilters have YouTube tutorials. It's wonderful to relax and watch the old school teachers. Yep. But only one copy, Linda said. That's okay. I can copy. Jackie says, I cut up the fat quarters I don't like into 1.5 inch to 2 inch strips for leaf pot holders. That's a great idea. Linda says, me too, and I don't tend to pass up fabric. Mary said, yay, a quilt book. I miss Doreen Speckman. She was such a treasure. She's no longer with us? Really? I don't even know who she is. I think I'm going to learn all about her this weekend when Mary comes over. This is Doreen Speckman. Doreen Speckman, a beloved quilt teacher, designer, and author, passed away suddenly while on a teaching trip to Ireland. Everyone at C&T is saddened by this loss. Doreen was a wonderful teacher who was loved by quilters all over the world. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family. C&T Publishing remembers Doreen as an enthusiastic, vibrant friend who lived life exuberantly. She touched many quilters with her colorful quilts, entertaining stories, and hilarious sense of humor. Doreen Speckman will be deeply missed by everyone in the quilting world. Wow. Well, since this says coming in fall 2000, I guess she passed away quite a while ago. That's sad. What is the copyright of this book? $19.99. That's sad. That's before the YouTube days, so I can't go watch her YouTube videos. Gonna share your trip with us? Yes. Stay tuned till Tuesday. I'll give you some spoilers, but there is a video. I am doing a vlog. I am working on editing it and putting it all together. There is a vlog coming on Tuesday that details the trip. But I will tell you, I had a fabulous time. I'm still wearing my bracelet from the event. So, highlights. I'll ask a couple of questions, and then I think I'll rip the Band-Aid and go spend some time with the family. But I'll tell you what happened. I'll answer a couple of questions. We'll call it a night. So we left out of here Tuesday morning, and we drove into Detroit, made pretty good time. We dropped my mom off at my aunt's house, and I sat and visited for a bit. And then I headed over to the hotel, and oh my goodness, this was a story in itself. And it probably won't make the vlog because I didn't get any footage of it, and I just want to move on with the story. But I had been trying to find hotels. I knew I was going to be staying at a hotel a lot for a week, and I wanted to conserve my money as much as possible. So I was trying to find affordable hotels. So there was a Red Roof Inn on Eureka Road in Taylor, right by I-75, and it's been there for decades. It's been there forever. And about 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, they remodeled the whole thing. It was like 7 years ago, maybe even less than that. They remodeled the whole thing. And we, as a family, had all decided to take our summer vacation up north Michigan, up in Petoskey. So we stayed, for those of us that didn't live in Michigan, we got several rooms side by side at the Red Roof Inn, and it was empty. It was quiet. I don't know if it was necessarily empty, but it was quiet, and the rooms were redone, and the rate was really good. So when I was looking on hotels.com for a hotel that I would stay at and was willing to pay for, this popped up, and I thought, well, it's only a night or two, no big deal. I'm familiar with the location, I'm familiar with the area, I'm familiar with that hotel. It'll be fine. Well, after I dropped mom off, it's just me. After I dropped mom off at my aunt's house, I drove over to the hotel. And let's just say I didn't stay there. It felt very sketch. I left. There were a lot of people there. It was very crowded. And there were a lot of people just standing in the doorways to the doors to their rooms. Like the doors were open and they were just hanging out and smoking, drinking. A lot of people hanging on the balconies to the second story. And I was just like, yeah, no. So I ended up finding a brand new hotel that had just been built in the past couple of years over by my sister's house. And they happened to have vacancy. So I grabbed a room for 2 nights. And they gave me the last available room. I think I got a steal of a deal because I paid the regular room rate. But what I got was a 2-bedroom apartment. Seriously, you walked in and it was a kitchenette really, with utensils and diningware and a little counter that you could sit at and eat, like a whatever. And then the front room. And then on one side of the suite was the master with king-size bed, a working desk, its own TV, and sitting area, and bathroom, which is like a hotel room in itself. And then the other side of the suite was another bedroom with 2 queen-size beds and its own work table, dresser, drawers, and its own bathroom. So 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms. And I was the only one in that room. 3 beds, and it was just me. I slept in the king bed both nights. So I stayed there. Wednesday, I picked my sister up and her son, and we went to Great Lakes Crossing, and we spent the day up there. We celebrated her birthday. We did a little bit of shopping. We played some games. We had some food, and then we came back down to the downriver area. And Thursday morning, I woke up early and I drove into Chicago for all of the New Kids on the Block stuff. Thursday, we kicked off the New Kids on the Block convention. They called it BlockCon by going to Wahlburgers. My friend Karen and I went to Wahlburgers. We had something to eat. We stood in line we were very hungry when we got there. So we went in when there was no crowd and ate, and then came out of the restaurant and got in the line that we knew was going to be 4 or 5 hours at least to go in and have another meal. So we went in for lunch and figured we'd get back in the line. And then when we got inside, we would have dessert or dinner if we were still hungry. And the whole idea was that when we went in for that table, we thought Donnie was going to be there for the whole evening. And so we were going to get a chance to have a selfie with Donnie. Well, Donnie showed up. The party started at 3 p.m. He showed up at like 4 o'clock, maybe a little before, a little less. And he only stayed like an hour and then left. But he's such a good guy. He wanted to make sure that everybody that wanted a selfie with him got one before he had to leave. And so he went through everybody in the restaurant that was eating, took a selfie with everybody inside, and then everybody that was in line outside, he took a selfie with them. So I got my selfie with Donnie. In fact, I got 2 selfies with Donnie that day. Karen got a couple as well, and we left because we had already ate and we had a selfie with Donnie, so we weren't going to continue to wait for another 2 hours in a line when Donnie wasn't there. So that was a Thursday night. After we left, we decided we wanted to eat. So I took Karen to Giordano's. I can't remember the name, how to pronounce it, but authentic deep dish Chicago style pizza. She had never had it. I was like, oh, okay. You have to understand, it's going to be crust, stuff, and cheese, crust, sauce. It's not like the sauce is on top. So she had her first deep dish experience. We ate, and that is when I learned that I was not severely, but I was sunburned. I was so cold sitting in there, and my arms, they're still a little pink. My arms were red. My face was red from standing out in the sun. Yeah, it was crazy. I should have put sunscreen on. I didn't even think about it. So we ate there, went back to the hotel. We stayed in St. Charles, which is where the Wahlburgers is, that night, and then moved on to Rosemont, which is where all the festivities were on Friday. There's a river that runs through St. Charles called the Fox River, and they have these bugs that come off of the river. They're ridiculously tons of them. They were all over everything. You couldn't hardly walk through downtown St. Charles without fear of a bug going in your mouth. You had to keep your mouth shut. So there was a lot of bugs. There was a lot of bugs coming off of the river, and the hotel that we stayed in was right on the river too. So we went into Rosemont the next day. I worked from the hotel room Friday. Fortunately, we showed up. I was so worried that when we showed up in the morning, because we checked out right away in the morning and headed right over. It was about an hour away. I was so worried when I showed up that I wasn't going to have a place to work, and I needed to work remotely on Friday. I had a couple of meetings that I had to take, and I didn't want to take them from the lobby of a hotel room or a hotel building. So I went in and checked in, and they're like, yeah, we already have a room available for you. We'll get you right in. So I slipped right inside of the hotel room, sat down, logged in, and put in a full day's worth of work. So really happy I was able to do that. Got a lot accomplished that day. And then the concert kicked things off that night at 8 p.m. The concert was amazing. My friend Karen upgraded her ticket to a VIP ticket. She paid a pretty penny for that too. I did not. I was trying to conserve the money here because I know I'm going on the cruise in October. So she got way closer to the stage than I was. But the thing is the theater that we were in, there was not a bad seat in the house. You could see everything from every single seat at the Rosemont Theater, so it didn't matter. And I happened to have an aisle seat, which was really nice, so I could stretch my leg out. They even had like little cup holders so you could put your bottle of water in there. It was great. So as far as concert venues went, I was absolutely happy. We went to the concert Friday night. I got a high five from John as he walked by. from Joe as he walked by, and Jordan was like right here singing at one point, like right here, and I froze and didn't know what to do. I was just like, and it was about that long that it took for all of the women around me to realize that Jordan was there, and they just started forcing themselves onto him, and I end up getting smushed up against Jordan, and I was just like, I didn't want to crowd him. I didn't want to be in his space. I just wanted to appreciate, you know what I mean? Like I felt like there was a physical boundary that I shouldn't cross, and then I was pushed into him. Um, but the bodyguard didn't seem like the bodyguard knew it wasn't me. There was one girl that was like trying to grab his shirt, and he just did this thing where he grabbed her arm and just like twisted it just the right way to let it, took it right off him, and he just walked away and did his thing. So, but my hands did not grope, my hands did not grab, my hands did not push. I got pushed into him. So that was Friday night. Sheila says, sounds like you stayed at a Residence Inn. In Detroit, it was similar to a Residence Inn. It was Staybridge, but it wasn't a Marriott. It was IHG, so not a Residence Inn. So we did that Friday night. After the concert was over, we went back to the hotel room and ordered take-in, and we were beat. We were so tired. And of course, Donnie showed up at the hotel and hung out in the lobby and took selfies and just like visited with people, and we were too tired. So we went to sleep. The next day we woke up, and that was the panels day. So they had a couple of panels. Again, I'll talk about all this in the vlog, so I don't know why I'm going into all the details. So the next day we did panels. They broke it up into a morning and afternoon session. Those were a lot of fun. But right in the middle of the day, Karen, they broke for a 2-hour lunch, and Karen and I decided we wanted to go outside, or sorry, we didn't want to go outside to the food trucks. We wanted to take some pictures while we could, and then we would go get food later. But those pictures turned into the entire 2 hours for lunch, because they had all these boxes that were like life-size boxes that hold like the New Kids on the Block dolls from back in the day. And it had their names on them and everything. So we wanted to go around and pose in all of the boxes. And we posed for a picture in Joe's box. And while the two of us were in the box posing, the girl that was taking the pictures with my phone looked distracted. And I'm just kind of like, what? Just take the dang picture. It's not that hard. But I could tell she wasn't looking at us, and I was confused by that. And then I felt the curtain behind me move. And so I went to reach around and see what happened. I just figured we'd leave, and John Knight was standing right behind us. So what had happened was, while we were in the box and couldn't see what was going on, this girl was standing out in front of the box taking our picture and saw John Knight come into frame. And so she was like, oh, like she's watching John Knight, and John Knight just opens the curtain and proudly just stands right in the box with us. And so she's just like taking pictures. So we caught, like, you can see like the stop motion of me like looking at the camera, turning, and then realizing who it is. So that was a lot of fun, in a moment that I'll never forget. But after he came out on the floor, all of a sudden, all the other guys started coming out. And so 4 of the 5 guys, Jordan never made an appearance, although I wonder if he did, but 4 of the 5 guys ended up posing for selfies in front of or inside of their boxes. And you just had to form a line to take pictures with them. So I got selfies again with Donnie. I got a selfie with Danny, or I got a picture with Donnie, a picture with Danny, a picture with Joe, and John photobombed us. So I got a picture with John too. So yeah, that was a good time. Did the afternoon panel, came back, had dinner, and then they had a New Kids on the Block prom. Some of these women went all out, like actual official prom attire. All 5 guys showed up in tuxes, very nicely dressed. I went in pants and a shirt, because I wasn't going to spend money on a prom dress for a prom that I was going to without my husband. And we showed up at the convention center, and it was cool. It was neat, but it was really hard to see what was going on. And there was not a single chair to be had in the entire place. So you had to stand the entire time. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to stand staring. I'm not going to stay. It wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing. So I left. And then of course I left on my own. I went back to the hotel room, and like 15 minutes later I got a text from one of the girls I had met there that said Jenny, it was a picture of her and Jenny McCarthy. Jenny showed up. And I just went like I would have ran away from all 5 guys just to give Jenny a hug, but it's fine. Totally fine. It is what it is. Anyway, Sunday morning there was a baseball game, New Kids on the Block versus some fans. They had that at some baseball diamond in the impact field, is what I think it was. I didn't stay for that. I wanted to get on the road to head home. So Sunday morning, bright and early, I woke up, I got in the car, and I drove the 4 hours from Chicago back to the Detroit area. Stopped in, visited with my aunt for a little while, and this will also be in the vlog, but my favorite quilt that has traveled on the New Kids cruise with me, it has gone to Vegas with me. It has been to Huntsville with me on multiple occasions. It's been to the beach. It goes everywhere with me. I don't sleep anywhere without this quilt. Haven't for the past year and a half, 2 years. It is now proudly on my aunt's bed. My Aunt Joyce. My Aunt Joyce is a quilter. She hasn't made a quilt in a number of years, but I remember her as a quilter from when I was growing up. And I never know when the mood is going to strike me, when it's time for a quilt to be gifted to somebody else. I never know when that's going to happen. In fact, I took that quilt to Chicago. I took it on the trip with me because I sleep with it everywhere I go. Or I did anyway. And I folded it up and put it in my car when I left Chicago. I did not know at that time that the quilt would not be coming home with me. I pulled into my Aunt Joyce's driveway. I did not know at that time that the quilt would be there. I went out to the car to load my mom's suitcases into the car, and I saw the quilt, and I made a spur of the moment decision that the quilt needed to stay there. So I brought it in, and I showed it to Aunt Joyce. I didn't even tell her I was giving it to her. I just showed it to her, and her reaction cemented that for me. I was like, yep, it's staying here. So she has it. She's very much in love with it. It is on her bed in her bedroom. It is all of her colors. She is very happy with it. But it does mean that I need to replace that quilt. So one of the quilt tops that I have over here that haven't been quilted, I either need to quilt and make for me, or start one all over. The best reason to buy more fabric is because you used fabric to make a quilt because you gave one away. So I have been doing a little bit of shopping, but I am really excited to make my next quilt. And the truth is I'm going to call it my quilt and say that this one's for me and it's my forever quilt, and I'm never going to let it go. But there will be a point where I know that that quilt needs to be gifted to somebody else. Somebody else gets to finish the chapter or the story on that quilt. I just start the book. I just write it. Like I start the story of it, but I don't, I'm pretty confident that not every quilt that I make is going to live forever in my home. I just get to start the story. So anyway, I'm a little teary-eyed about that one. If there was any one person that got to have that quilt, I'm glad it's her. Any questions? Yes, I had a great time. It was amazing. It was amazing. Mary says, that's so sweet of you to give your favorite quilt to your Aunt Joyce. Yep. Did Great Lakes Crossing still have the Rainforest Cafe candy? Wants to know. Yes, it does. Giordano's is the best, Sheila. So Great Lakes Crossing, when we went there for lunch / dessert first. We did the sampler platter for an appetizer, and all 3 of us, my sister, my nephew, and I, split that, and then we split the volcano cake, and then we went and did some shopping, and I learned all about Loungefly purses, which I think are super cute, and I kind of want one, but I also feel like they're very impractical, and I don't know that I'll ever actually buy one, but they're really cute. And then we went and played some games. So I am looking through the chat just to see if there are any questions. Great pizza though. Yeah, the pizza was awesome. Sounds like you stayed. Oh, I answered that already. Hello, everyone from South Texas. That's what you needed when you were remodeling. Wait, must have missed that. Oh, she passed in 1999. That's what you needed when you were. Gotcha. I'm new to quilting. I wanted to know, do you press your seams open or to the side and why? And this is from Mayra. So my answer is when I press my seams, I let the quilt tell me what it needs. As a new quilter, I will tell you that pressing open does take a little bit more time, but it is the best way to make sure that your quilt top is going to be as flat as possible. And the reason is because you are evenly distributing the bulk of those seams in either direction, but also you are putting like colored fabric under like colored fabric. So for example, if you have a half square triangle unit where one side is white and one side is black, if you press them to one side, you probably press it to the black side, you'll still have maybe threads or a little shadow of that fabric underneath the fabric. The seam could show up under there. So that's why you would want to press it under the black. If you press it to the one side, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. As a new quilter, getting in the habit of pressing open is not a bad idea. It will get you nice flat seams. However, if you press open, it does make it hard to match your points. When you press to one side, that allows you to lock the seams or nest them up against one another. If you press to one side, the tip for you is to make sure that you're putting that seam underneath the darker of the two fabrics, but you also need to think about where the other seam is going to be when you match that block up with another block in the quilt top, because if they're both going to the right, you can't nest those seams. If you press open, then you don't have to worry about the directions of the seams, whether one needs to go to the right or to the left. It's always going to be able to just match up with a pin. I have heard, though I cannot prove or don't have any experience to back this up, that if you press your seams open, you could have issues with the integrity of your quilt if you quilt it stitching in the ditch. And the reason for that, from what I've heard, is because if you're stitching in the ditch and your seams are pressed open, it's actually not grabbing onto any fabric. It's grabbing onto the thread holding fabric together. So if you stitch near the ditch or next to the ditch, you're okay if you press open. But if you press open and you're only going to stitch by stitching in the ditch, you might want to rethink that plan. I probably confused you a whole lot. I started this answer off by saying I let the quilt tell me. And what I mean by that is as I'm pressing my seams, I tend to think about how much bulk that block is going to add and whether I want to press open, or if I know I'm just doing something very minimal that's not going to add a ton of bulk, then I just let it go where it needs to go and match it up as I go. I hope that made sense. Gosh, that was a horrible answer, but maybe that made some sense. Okay, Danelle says, I'm starting my legit block of the month tomorrow. How do you organize your block of the months again? Sure, let me show you. So this is my legit kit block of the month. I have broken it up into three. Oh, nope, that's my Judy Niemeyer. I have broken it up into three or maybe two. I think two. No, three. I've broken it up into three binders. I just have to find the third one. Give me a second. I think it's this one. Nope. 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 Yup. Okay. I did, if you do three 3-inch binders, you'll be set for this. I did two 3-inch binders and a 1.5-inch binder. So one binder is for all of my paper and my documentation. I'll go to the overhead camera so I can show this to you. Inside this, I have a sheet protector that shows me the layout of the whole quilt. You get this in month number 1. One side is the finished quilt side and the other side is the pattern side. And then I have one packet that has all of my paperwork that's needed for month number 1. And then I have one sheet for every block that I do for that month. I could add, if I had them, but I don't, I could add a tab divider that says 1 because this whole section is for month 1. When I get to month 2, spoiler alert, I have done month 2, and you're going to see that here, I do the same thing. So one sheet protector for all of my documentation, my cut guide, my color layout, everything for month 2. Have my layout here. I make that facing out so that I can see it at a glance. And then the blocks that I'm going to do for that month each have their own sheet protector. Now, when I get into month 3, I haven't done this, so I can show you a little bit better of what I do to prep for it. In month number 3, I have all of my documentation here, and then I have one sheet protector that has all of my block pages in it. So if my block is going to be just one sheet of paper, it's just one sheet of paper right now in that sheet protector. But if my block is going to have multiple pages that I'm going to have to cut parts a piece for, both of those pages go in this sheet protector. And then I started over with month 4, 5, 6, and I do that. All 12 of my month documentations are in here. And then I have my fabric binders. Now this works for me because I'm only doing one right now. I do not have 15 legit kit projects going on. I don't even have 2. I have 1. Vortex. That's it. And I would really like for this to be portable. And so this allows it to be portable, and it allows me to save scraps for the entire project. And so what I've got are these zipper pockets, which you can pick up on Amazon. I've got a sticky note in here that tells me what month they're for. And inside of each of these zipper pouches are the fabric that I need for each month. So you can see month 1 and 2, I still have quite a bit of leftover for months 1 and 2. I save every bit of my scrap in here because I don't know if I'm going to need that later. Maybe I make a boo-boo. So this is month 3. I haven't cut into it yet. This is month 4, month 5, month 6. And the reason why I need 2 binders for my fabric is because these pockets do get to be a little bulky because there's a lot in there. So I have months 1 through 8 in this binder, which are the months where you're just going to do 4 blocks. And then months 9 through 12, where you're going to do 8 blocks, are in this other binder. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Does that make sense? I hope that answered your question. This allows me, if I wanted to, if I decided I'm going on retreat and I want to focus on getting my vortex block done, all I would have to do is just grab my binders and go. What Donna has done, and I've seen Ian do this, and I did it for Ursula. I've seen several other folks do this for legit kits, is they get a hanging file folder system. So they get a box that allows you to put hanging files in it. And they put the tabs on it, which I'm not going to lift it up and pull it up here, but I still have my box down there from Ursula. Every tab has the color code for your fabric, and they just keep the colors in the right hanging file. So if they wanted to go out, if they wanted to take their legit kit and work on it away, they could still do the binder system to hold all their paper, just like I've done, but they would have to carry their entire box of files with them, which is not a bad idea. I have not done it that way. I've done it binder way. And I'm thinking, is that the most efficient way? Maybe not. But what it allows me to do is keep my scraps month by month by month. So this is the way I've done it. And this is the way I think I'm going to keep doing it for this one. I want I want the block of the month fabric to be separate and apart from any kit that I get. And part of the reason for that is because I'm not getting my packages the way that you guys are getting them when they send them out month over month. I got everything all at once, and I got it as part of the testing group. And so there might be oops or boo-boos in the fabric, and having mine broken out month over month will make it easier for me to deal with those if they pop up. The hanging file system, if the hanging file system is good, and I will tell you, I used it for Ursula, and I think I can lift it. The hanging file system, I've just got some fabric on top of it that I gotta move, and a ruler. The hanging file system is good. It does. 1 second. I said I wasn't going to do it, and here I am. Because it's not heavy. This is the hanging file system that I did. Now, this is for a small quilt. This is one of their smaller quilt tops. So if you're going to do a larger quilt where it has more colors, you're going to need a couple boxes of these. I have one box. All of them have tabs on it, and each one of these have my fabrics in it. I didn't worry about keeping them folded a certain way. I just shoved them in here. I've still got quite a bit of, that wasn't a lot to begin with, but I got quite a bit in here still. And they're all still organized by the color code. That's what's on the tab. And the nice thing is Legit Kits always has that color code. So GA, I don't remember what this actually was. Maybe it was grape. Well, this fabric will always be GA. Regatta. Regatta will always be GA in all of their kits. So I can kind of keep them this way. And if I decide, I haven't gotten rid of this yet because I do want to do another Legit Kit, but I don't want to buy one until Vortex is put together. I'm trying to be fiscally responsible. I don't want to go in and buy things that I know I'm not going to do. It's the whole reason why I want to cut back on the box openings, because I'm not making them. I don't want to just keep getting things that I'm not excited to make. It's not even that I'm not excited to make them, because that's not it either, because the projects are fun. I don't have time to make them. There's, how do I say this? In order to do a project, it has to be something I want to make, and I have to have the time that I want to make it, and I have to have the resources to purchase the materials that need to happen. And that Venn diagram right in the center, that's what I do. It's the things that I want to make, the things that I can afford to make, and the things that I have the time to do. And I have the funds to buy another Legit Kit, but I don't have the time to do another Legit Kit right now. So I don't want to spend the funds on the thing that I can't do until I know I am close to being ready to do it. And it's not even that it's going to be up next. I've got a wall full of other projects and UFOs that I want to get done too. And the only way that I'm going to really shrink down that list of UFOs and get those projects done is if I stop adding more UFOs to my list. So we're trying to get things done around here. But anyway, this is a good system. If you're going to do a Legit Kit, I would recommend this. I will tell you, when I purchase my next kit, I will expand this to probably be 2 boxes. And as soon as I get the fabric in, it's going to get filed in here, just like I did with Ursula. And these will become my Legit Kit boxes. There's a reason why I haven't cut into all of these fabrics to do something else with them. I'm saving the scraps because I'm just going to let them accumulate as I do multiple Legit Kits. So by what I hear, they will bring some nice new ones out later on. They're always adding some really cool patterns. In fact, I texted a pattern to Mike. I texted an image to Mike. I was like, you need to make this. Like, I all kidding aside, I told him I want to see a dolphin, but I sent him an image over like a week or so ago. I was like, this needs to be a Legit Kit. And he was like, I like where you're headed. So yeah, I won't speak on behalf of Legit Kits, but it screamed Legit Kit to me. It is hard pressed to pick just one. Okay, so it sounds like folks understood what I was saying there. I think that's all I've got. I said a half an hour ago, do they have lion? Yes, they have a lion. They also have a tiger. They also have a giraffe. They have a polar bear. They have a mother polar bear and a baby. They have so many. Just go look, legitkits.com. And I do have an affiliate link in the description box of this video if you are interested in helping to support my channel. That will not increase your cost at all, but it will earn me a small commission if you pick up a pattern or a kit using that link. Tony said, do what's fun for you. Breathe in and out. Deep breaths. Just remember why you started your channel and have fun. Absolutely. I want to do more storytelling and more sharing of what I'm creating and just spending time sewing with you guys. And that's what we're going to lean into over the next few months. And it's 8 o'clock. Just like that, I said a half an hour ago, okay, I'll talk for a couple minutes and answer a couple of questions and I'm going to go. And then I get talking and you can't get me to shut up. Half an hour has gone by. So I think that's it for me tonight, guys. I will be live Friday night at my normal time, 8 o'clock p.m. I don't know what I'm going to work on just yet. Something that will make me happy. Perhaps I will continue working on my Quilt of Valor that I started a couple weeks ago, because that does need to get done. Or maybe I'll start working on a personal sew to replace the quilt that I have gifted to my aunt. Either way, I look forward to sewing with you Friday night. If you haven't checked out all of my friends' channels, Donna, Ian, Tiffany, Teresa, Fallon, all of them, they're amazing content creators. Several of them are doing unboxings. Make sure to check out the channel. If you like what you see, give them a subscribe, and I'll see you guys all on Friday night. Bye. Where do I hit the ending? There it is. See ya.